Hear me out. I need you to stop trying to get rich. I know that sounds wild coming from a certified financial planner, but here's why I say that. Most people who say that they want to get rich, they're not actually trying to chase millions of dollars. What they want is relief, safety, peace of mind, the ability to think about money without feeling anxiety. I think if you build your life around how can I get rich, and that is what drives you, but you don't build security first, you're never gonna feel wealthy, even when the money comes. So today, I want to show you what I think you should focus on instead, and why this shift changes everything. This video is for you if you're the first person in your family trying to build wealth. Like nobody sat you down when you were growing up and explained how to invest, how to stay out of bad debt, etc. And you know how to make money, but you still feel unsure about your finances. Money gives you anxiety from time to time or all the time. I want you to know that chasing rich creates this false pressure. Whereas when you make your goal building financial security, that is going to create peace. That's going to be peace of mind sooner than you think and for the rest of your life. Hello and welcome. I'm Lissa, and I help women build wealth in a way that feels aligned with what they really want in life. So if that's your vibe, make sure you subscribe. Today, we are redefining what rich actually means. What does rich even mean? For some people, it's $1 million. For others, it's 10 million. And for somebody else, it's simply not having to live paycheck to paycheck and worry if you're gonna make all of this month's bills. The dictionary defines rich as having a great deal of money or assets. My issue with these targets and these dollar figures that we associate with rich is that once you hit that number, you're just gonna be chasing the next number. And if you don't get to the root of what causes you anxiety when it comes to money, you're still gonna feel that anxiety when you do increase your net worth and when you do increase your salary. There are a lot of reasons why this happens psychologically with us as humans. For example, as humans, we tend to compare ourselves. If you believe rich is this one thing and you finally achieve that, there's a high likelihood you're gonna compare yourself with someone who has more and then all of a sudden not feel rich anymore. Rich as a concept is a moving target. It moves because it's pretty much built on comparison. If you don't think you're rich now, it's because you're comparing yourself to people who have more than you. What if you compare yourself to people who have less than you? Obviously, you're already rich, but do you feel that? So again, that's why I think your goal should be building financial security. Security is built on stability. If you can build a solid foundation with your finances, you don't have to keep chasing stable. You are stable and you're gonna be stable because you know how to set up your life and your finances in a way that feels stable for your entire life. So while I do believe that wanting to be rich and wanting financial security are related, they have overlap, they're just not the same goal. There's a small shift in how you look at it and how you define what you're actually looking for. Here's another thing. We were all sold the idea that wealth is visible. Actually, we're sold this idea every day. We have learned to associate wealth with a big house, a luxury car, designer everything, high income. That's what society tells us to associate with wealth. But here's what's happening behind the scenes. When you define wealth as something visual, your brain is gonna start scanning around for status markers. And when you don't see those markers in your own life, your brain is gonna read that as, I'm behind everyone else. If someone has a big house, they're wealthy. If I don't have a house that big, I'm not wealthy or I'm not as wealthy. And that could be the case even if your bills are paid, even if you're saving money and investing from every paycheck. The American Psychological Association regularly reports money as one of the top sources of stress for adults in the United States. So what that tells us is this isn't just about math. It's about safety. Yes, the less resources you have, the lower net worth, the less cushion you have, you're gonna feel stress. But stress with money is found at all income levels. And that's why your nervous system won't just calm down as soon as your salary increases. There are deeper things going on underneath the hood. So it's not you get more money and then you become calm. What happens in actuality is you get more money, it allows you to build more predictable systems. Those systems bring you safety, peace of mind, more of a financial cushion, and all of those things bring you calm. Another thing that I see happening is if people skip building those systems and those foundations with money and they get more money but use that higher income to buy those visible wealth markers, what happens is you'll have more things and your lifestyle might look rich and it might feel rich in the moment, but what will happen is your lifestyle actually gets more expensive and your stress will stay the same. In some cases, your stress gets worse because there becomes more pressure of having to keep up that lifestyle. So if this path looks like the better path to you, let's talk about how you can build it. If I'm telling you not to chase getting rich and to change your goal from I want to be rich to I want to be financially secure, let's talk about what that actually looks like. Building financial security consists of a couple of layers. Layer number 1, cash stability. These are the basics. Build an emergency fund. Get current on your bills and don't miss any bills. Build up some breathing room in your checking account. Break out of living paycheck to paycheck. None of these things sound that glamorous, but this is the first layer of your foundation. The second layer, automation. Automation is when you start putting some of these financial systems and habits on repeat. That could be automatic transfers to savings, automatic investing, automatic debt payments to make sure that you never miss one. The reason automation has so much power to reduce your stress and increase your financial stability is that it takes away a lot of the guesswork. It becomes part of how you move, part of how you operate, and it requires a lot less energy. Now, the next layer of financial security, paying yourself first. The concept of paying yourself first is anytime new money comes, your paycheck, you use that money first and put it in places that is going to be paying yourself, your future self. So savings accounts, investment accounts. You are prioritizing future you before you go ahead and take that money to pay the rest of your bills and everything else you need in current day. Every time you pay yourself first, you are reinforcing this identity. I am someone who builds wealth. I am someone who cares about my future self and my future financial security. And that's a big reason you can't just pay yourself first once out of one paycheck. It has to become a habit because doing the same habit over time is what's going to really help you shift your identity and believe that you are a person who is wealthy. Now, going back to what I was saying earlier, when your goal is get rich, there are a lot of different patterns that tend to show up. People who want to get rich often try to chase higher income without fixing their habits first. And I truly believe if you can't manage your money when you have lower income, it's not going to magically make you better with money when you have more income. In fact, it's going to hurt you more. But if you fix your habits early, the more money you make, the smarter decisions you are going to make when you have more resources. People who chase being rich also often upgrade their lifestyles before their systems are stable. So before they have an emergency fund, they get a raise, they get a big bonus, they want to upgrade their car, they want to start dining out at nicer restaurants. And if you're an OG on my channel, you know that I'm not one of those super frugal personal finance experts. I actually like to encourage you all to have guilt-free spending and to enjoy the money that you work so hard to make. But there's a balance because you want to enjoy your money, but you also want to ensure that you are building wealth for the long term and that you have long-term financial security. And finally, something else that happens when people are trying to get rich is they take risks that their foundation can't support. They take risks that might not be the smartest financial decisions because they're trying to get there a lot faster. I'm not against taking risks. I actually have a very high risk tolerance. But when it comes to your money, especially when you start investing, you want to make sure that any risk you take fits within your risk capacity. Risk capacity means the amount of financial risk that you can take without putting your long-term security in danger. It's a little different from risk tolerance, which is more about how you feel. How much can you take emotionally when you start investing? Risk capacity is about what your actual numbers can handle. And if you have no emergency fund and you have tons of debt, that tells you a lot about the decision of whether or not you should be investing, right? This video is not financial advice. This is education only. But in a situation like that, it makes more sense to me that you work on building your foundation first. Those layers of security we talked about earlier in the video. This is something a little different from my other videos, but here's something I want you to try after watching this video. Grab a notebook and something to write with. These are the best pens, by the way, no contest. This is not a sponsored video, but these have been my favorite pens forever. So after the video, write down, I want to be rich because, and then fill in the blanks. Think about it. Ask yourself why. Why do you want to be rich? Why do you want wealth? And then keep asking why. Go layers deeper. For example, if you want to be rich so you can buy a bigger house, cool. But then ask yourself, why do you want the bigger house? Maybe it's because you didn't have a lot of space growing up as a kid and you love the thought of being able to decorate your place with a lot of cool furniture. You ask yourself why. Why does having a big place with really cool furniture matter to me? Maybe it's because you care about interior design and you really believe that your space positively impacts your mental health. Then you ask yourself why. Well, why does that matter to you? Well, because mental health is health. The deeper you dig into your why, you'll realize, is being rich what you're chasing, or is better mental health what you're chasing? Because money and wealth can help support that goal. I want you to do this exercise because eventually you may realize that you're not chasing money. You're not trying to be a multimillionaire for the sake of being a multimillionaire. You have a why behind it. What is it you're chasing? Is it confidence? Is it validation from others? Is it freedom? Is it control of your time? Is it peace of mind? Is it all of those? There's no judgment here. It's just something for you to reflect on because I think it will have a very positive impact on your wealth journey. I'm not gonna lie about my own money story and my money journey. I was basically raised to care so much about external validation. As a daughter of immigrants, part of it is not wanting to disappoint your parents for all their hard work and sacrifices. So I gotta look a certain way and present myself a certain way. I gotta get the best grades in my classes to make sure people know I deserve to be there. I gotta make money so that I can buy a house so that people will know I am smart and successful. A lot of my decisions in early adulthood were driven by this need for validation and acceptance and feeling like I belonged. That's my truth. I don't deny it. But I've come to evolve into a person that now can see that side of me and also get my motivation from somewhere else. Now I am motivated to do well and to make money because I want more comfort. I want more experiences in life. There's more things I care about in life than if somebody sees me walking down the street and wonders if I'm rich or poor. Right? I could care less about that kind of stuff now. But it was a journey to get to this point. That was a little bit of a tangent, but my point is the more you know about yourself and what's driving you, the better decisions you're gonna make with money, period. To me, security looks like not being afraid to open your banking app and look at your numbers. Security is knowing that your bills are covered weeks before they're due, maybe even months, or knowing that you could cover this bill for the next couple of years with no problem. Security is having 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up in an emergency fund. Security is knowing that you're saving and investing every month, even when the market feels boring or scary, depending on what's going on in the economy. To me, financial security is as simple as handling an unexpected car repair without freaking out, without feeling anxiety. Can you imagine that world? If you can get your situation to look like this, you will feel more secure. And then you'll realize that your wealth is actually going to compound, because when you feel secure with your money decisions are going to be made more intentionally. So we live in a culture that worships more, having more income, more lifestyle upgrades, more travel, more vacations, more things, more visible markers of success. But take this as your reminder for this week. It's that someone who's making $70,000 a year and has $15,000 saved, and maybe they invest 15% consistently and they have no high interest debt, this person is technically more financially secure than someone who's making $200,000 but has no savings and who has large credit card balances and who has a more expensive lifestyle. If one of them loses their job, who do you think is going to have a harder time bouncing back because they have to support their lifestyle? More is not always gonna feel like you have enough. Getting more money, becoming more rich is not always gonna solve the underlying problems. But instead, if you shift your goal towards wanting to become financially secure, the only question that you're really asking is, what is enough for me? Wanting to get rich is often external, extrinsic, whereas wanting financial security starts with you and what's going to make you feel good. What I'll leave you with are 3 simple shifts. The first shift, work on measuring stability, not status. Forget comparing yourself to others, what people have that you don't have, etc., and start focusing on how you feel. Do you feel stable? Do you feel confident with your day-to-day financial decisions? Shift number 2, be driven by your why, not by someone else's. Do that exercise I talked about earlier and dig into why you want to be rich. Why do you want wealth? Rather than chasing things because someone else has it. Focus on you and your why and let that be your driver. And shift number 3, work on protecting your peace. That means if there's a financial decision that is going to increase your anxiety more than it brings a return, pause on that decision, put it aside, and come back to it later or throw it in the trash. Protecting your peace means choosing stability first, making financial security your goal. Not being rich, not looking rich, not feeling rich, but instead feeling stable, feeling secure. On my channel, our goal is to build wealth with structure behind it, because I think that's how you're gonna get long-term financial security and feel good throughout the process. Now, if you're ready to build your first layer of security, make sure you watch my next video where I walk you through your financial foundation step by step. I hope this was helpful. Until next time, peace out.